Really, Pumpkin? Really? Oh, nice to see you too, Pumpkin. You saying hi? Saying hi to everybody. So nice. I should say hi too. Hey, what's up, garden friends? Jeff here. How's everybody doing? Hope you're doing well. I'm great. You're gonna burn your butt. You haven't learned by now not to stand in the stove? It's not a good place to stand, Pumpkin. Busy couple of days here. That's not much of a view. Got a lot of stuff that needs to get done. Neither the grow space. I gotta get it all set up. I spent a good amount of time yesterday getting things cleaned up and ready, but there's still some things I need to do. Did you need to go out, or? I think he just learned that when I pick up the camera and start talking to it, he thinks that means it's time to go outside. We're not, you gotta wait a few more minutes, Turbo. I'm not going out yet. You wanna come, yeah, there we go. Come back in. Come on, good boy. Need to do some things before the plants can come in. Actually, a lot of things, but it's all little small tasks. I have some new lights here, light bulbs, I should say. Bunch of cords. There's still some stuff that's coming in the mail. Hopefully it shows up sooner than later because I need to get started. These are all things that need to get hung up. I'm gonna go outside now, Pumpkin. I'm gonna miss you. You're such a good girl. Seriously, ignored me all morning, nothing from Pumpkin. Then I pick up the camera and she decides she wants attention. No, wait, can't go out to the garage yet. Make sure this is unlocked because I'm gonna have to come around and get this ladder. Ladder's inside, installed a new light fixture. Isn't it beautiful? It's not, I know, neither here nor there. Sorry, get back onto topic here, whatever it was that was going on. Okay, gonna be noisy. Got the waterfall going. I know, Dracaena looks terrible. It's been on the struggle bus. I'm not all that concerned about it. This right here, this whole area, I spent a few hours cleaning out. There was just dirt and the tubes and pipes. I used to have air pumps that ran over to these shelves over here to keep the water in the trays circulating. I stopped using those a couple of years ago. Just don't need them anymore. The humidity is fine as it is. And that's what the whole point was, keep the humidity up. But so I had all these tubes and things all over the place. I know it looks like a mess, but sadly, this is an improvement. Like I can walk around freely. I'm not stepping over anything like I was before. This whole area is cleared out. Table's ready to get set up to bring some plants in. Need to get some milk crates put back there. But first, before I start moving any of the plants in, I have a few light bulbs that need to be changed out. I don't really know if there's much point in changing out that light because when I sit here at the desk, all it does is blind me. It's straight in the face, and there aren't any plants right there, but I should at the very least unplug it. Or maybe put a new light in there, because I have some new lights here. These are what I'm using all over the place. These are the SANSI, I don't know which. I have them throughout the grow space. They work pretty well. That's why I went ahead and got some more. These are the same ones I've always used, except for, no, there is a new one in here. This is the 40 watt. So all the ones I have are 36 watt. Almost just dropped the camera. Pardon the shakiness there. The 40 watts, only 4 watts more, but it has like a remote control and you can do different things with it. I don't know if it was necessary, but I just wanted to try it out. I did just realize though that I did not give this desk a proper wipe off. So I'm gonna get this cleaned up, sit down, test the bulbs, and then figure out where to go from here. I need to water badly. I need to water very badly, but well, there's gonna be water everywhere. I want to do the electrical stuff first. Okay, that's better. Gave the desk a good clean. It was pretty grimy. I didn't want to sit down there. I'm wondering, do you think this would help? I'm not sure if this is gonna be too big. Is that too big? I don't think. Yeah, it doesn't really want to go in there. I need to go find a smaller brush. New brush. I feel like this probably doesn't sound very soothing. This is probably too much for everyone, probably kind of annoying. So maybe if I can just clean out the front of this, then the water will come down more gracefully. No, this is too big, really? Okay, I gave that a good brush down and it's still pretty loud. So instead, just gonna fill it up. I need to do that anyway. Had to get it done regardless. So, the bulbs. Need to put in some new bulbs. I would also like to, well, first I need to get this thing down. Keep hitting my head on it. Don't know who hung that up there. I need to get another hook put in over here so that I can put in another light right here and another light over there. So I'm gonna put in a hook right there. And I think there's another stud over there, so you should be able to put another hook in that spot too. And you can see this is something I can't do with the plants in here. I won't be able to walk around, won't be able to use the ladder. Don't see it working out very well while things are open and clear. I should get those things done. Also need to get this bike out of here. It's my sister's. I have no idea why it's here, but it takes up a ton of space, so need to get that going. Another job for the ladder. I would also like to get a new rope put through this pole right here and lower it down some, because as it is, it doesn't make sense. This is what I use for all my hanging baskets, and it's not, it's centered, but it's not held up properly, I guess is the way I should say it. So it teeters back and forth if you have too many pots on one side, which is unnecessary. If I could just get the rope to go through the ends and tie that up there, that'll work a lot better. I'm gonna have to be over here with the ladder anyway, so may as well see if I can do something. This is all dependent on whether or not the ends of this pole come off. I don't know if they do. It looks like they would come off, right? Maybe? We'll find out. I think I need to get the iguana cage, move back over into this corner, and then need to put up a new fan over here. This one's broken, but I have an extra. Not an extra, it came in a 2-pack, so I can put that up. But I think I'm gonna wait until, I guess this video will already be out at this point, but on Friday at some point, a new heater is supposed to be coming in the mail and electricians are coming out to install it. I feel pretty dumb having electricians install something where all I have to do is remove some bolts and take out 3 wires and redo the whole thing. But it says in the manual for these things, I remember when I got this one, to have a professional electrician install it. And so I feel like if I install it and then say something were to go wrong, you know, like the house burning down, then homeowners insurance may not cover it. So I'm gonna listen to them and I'm gonna follow the rules, and I won't install it myself. Seems like just a bad idea. Okay, and then the plants. I'm thinking I'm gonna do coconut palms over here because I have a new light coming in the mail that I plan on installing right above this table. It's supposed to be pretty bright, so that should be a good spot for them. I had a red spicata over here last winter and it did fairly well. I have another coconut that'll probably go right here. Areca palm will be over here like it always is. Have the table set up, and then just have to make room for everything else. The problem with the way things are going, since I have to wait on the electricians to get the new heater taken care of, is that I can't really place everything where I want it to go. In fact, I may end up just having to pile a lot of stuff over on this side for now so that things are open for the electricians to come in and walk around. And I know, I keep looking at it. It's so sad. I gave it a good amount of water last night. Let's hope that it rebounds. I just let it go too long and it dried up. I was busy with all kinds of other things, family stuff. So I'm gonna have to get this table cleaned off. But I think that I should be able to fit all the coconuts on here and probably a few other things. That zygopetalum I might get rid of because I've just been treating it for mealybugs all summer and they won't go away. So I'd rather just get rid of it. Anything that I'm having trouble getting the mealybugs off of, they just gotta go. Oh, look at that. So much more space up there. Got the spreader down, got the bike down, got very lucky. I didn't realize that the bike lock wasn't attached to it, and that fell when it was probably right around here. Look how close, that was so close. Very close call. Yeah, I know, need to get that cleaned up too. Been dusty and humid out here. I don't know if she's gonna want this, because you see that? The rubber on the handle, it's all, like you touch it and it's doing that. It's not supposed to do that, right? Said that in the form of a question. I know it's not supposed to do that. Oh, I don't know. It'll go in the back of my car. She can decide what she wants to do with her bike on her own, but for now, it's coming out here and getting the hell out of my way. Okay, hooks. I'm not gonna be able to use that one because it hangs too far away from the top of this shelf here. So you can see how it's over there. It needs to be more over there. So I guess I'll have to put one in between the 2 hooks that are there. Another one right there. I should be able to strap to that side for that hook right there. By strap, I meant go into the metal pieces that are up there. Is this battery done charging yet? That's gonna be important if I'm gonna be hanging up hooks. I'm gonna need a drill. All right, okay, it's not much, but I think it'll be enough to drill 3 holes. Right, 3? Yeah? 1, 2, where's the, oh yeah. Probably right around there, up in that spot. Probably gonna need to put a hole right there. The studs run this way. I should have, obviously, the 4 joists, because that's the attic up there. I should have known that. I just ended up drilling a couple holes completely needlessly. Oops. And I just remembered that I already have a hook up here. It's a pulley, but I can still use it to hang the light that comes in tomorrow for everything that's going to go right here. So that was all a really big waste of time. I didn't need to do most of, well, really, I didn't need to do any of it. That was all stupid. Oh well. Oh well, it's going to be the theme of a lot of what's going on in this video. Just trying to get lots of little stuff done here. I guess I'll go ahead and see if I can get the caps off that pole and run a new rope through it. Okay. Let's see, the other one popped right off. That one did too. Where's the rope? I already fit it through. At least I thought I did. I don't see it. You can see where I pushed that up there, and I thought that it would be pushing up against this end because it's not working, but I don't see anything. Can I turn on the flash? Use you guys for a close-up? I don't see anything. Where the heck is the rope? Uh-oh. Okay. Those are blinding. I don't know if you can tell. Those are extremely bright. Those are the new 40-watt SANSI lights that work with remote control, which is nice because I can sit here and turn them off and not be absolutely blinded by them. Is that okay? You can set them to a timer and all kinds of things, adjust the light on them. I'm not going to be doing all that because those are already what are they? They're already plugged into a timer. My brain stopped working because I decided I want to move on to talk about the next thing first. But at least I was able to get something done. I got the pole hung. It looked level. It really did. It looked level. But now that I'm sitting here, I can tell that it's not. I still have the ladder over there, so I need to pull that side up a little bit more. It's kind of a stretchy paracord, so I think that what happened is when I pulled on it to tighten the knot, it just came down a little bit further. So I need to give that side a tug. It's fine. It's not going to teeter back and forth anymore. It's hanging low enough that I don't really even need the hooks. I used to have to use those hooks to get stuff hung up on there, and it just didn't make any sense. I wanted to bring this bar down to a level where the hangers would be just above the shop light, that grow light that's right there, so that the plants themselves are, within 6 inches to a foot when they're hanging. So I think that should be about right. It's better than what it was, which is all the way up there, and it was falling all over the place, and the lights were like 1.5 feet below. Not the light. The plants were about 1.5 feet below the lights. That's what I was trying to say. Okay, so now I need to test some bulbs because I have a hook up here in the ceiling that I used to have. There it is. You can see that right there. I used to have one of these things hanging up in it, and I don't know what happened to it. I think it broke or something like that. I took it down because all the bulbs were out. I need to come in here into my box and see if I can find 4 bulbs that'll work for this. I know these 2 will work. These are the 36-watt grow lights that aren't, they're not remote controlled or anything fancy, but they don't need to be. And then I have a box down here that's full of just miscellaneous lights that I need to test out and see what works and what doesn't, so I can decide what to keep. But that never happens. Every single bulb works. All of them. All the ones in there, everything works. I figured there'd be some broken ones, so that's good. I'm going to swap out these spotlights with grow bulbs and get that taken care of. And then I guess just start moving plants inside. I don't think there's really anything else I can do at this point. Just got to get that heater put up there and get things warmed up. And I don't have the other grow light that I wanted to hang up, so I hung a pole and changed a couple light bulbs. It's a great way to spend the first, 14 minutes of the video? Here we are. That's fine. That ought to do it. Have 1, 2, 3 new lights up there. I lowered this light down by, I don't know, maybe a foot or so. Something like that. I was thinking, I know I said coconut palms were going to go over there, but the lighting is so much better over here on this side because it's just, I don't know, the way it worked out. There's a lot of light over here. So this is probably going to be a better spot to have the coconuts, but I can always move them and everything. I know I said it was going to start on the plants, but I realized that there were just some things I wanted to get checked off, things that I want to do every year, and then I forget about it and I bring the plants in and go, oh no, it's too late. Like this insulation material here. I have an entire spool of this to wrap around the pond, and I always forget to do it. Years ago, I had this thing wrapped in this insulation, and then I took the pond down for a summer, too. I think I was like drywalling and painting the ceiling, something. I don't really remember why, but I never put the stuff back on. Then I ordered a new roll so I could wrap the pond with it and then get it on the garage doors, and just never happened. So here we are. Got a nice big roll of this stuff. I'm just going to wrap this around. The whole point is to just help hold some of the warmth in for the water. Having a pool of warm water in this grow space, it makes a tremendous difference. It slowly releases heat, right? It slowly warms things that are kind of within the vicinity, within a foot or two, keeps them extra warm. It takes some of the burden off the heater, although it's sort of a two-way thing, right? The heater is what's going to warm the water up in here. But it's nice. It makes a difference. And the main reason is that for humidity, the warmer the water, the better. I'm not going to keep this like piping hot. There's fish in here. And also the water's not dirty. I threw a whole bunch of driftwood in here to help get some tannins into the water, to help soften the water, because the plants, the tropicals, prefer softer water. So that's why it looks like this, but it's clean. There's filtration and everything. It's just lots and lots of tannins. So that's why the water's that color. Anyways, wrapping this around here, it's hopefully going to help hold in a little bit more warmth for the water. Not a ton, not turning this thing into a hot tub, right? It's going to make it easier to keep the water around, 74 to 78, somewhere in there. And it will reduce fluctuations too, the speed of the fluctuations. It's going to be in competition with this waterfall, because the more that water is moving and mixing with the air, the faster it's going to cool. But it's also doing a tremendous job at keeping things nice and humid. So I used to have a floating ultrasonic doohickey in here that fogged the whole place up, and that worked wonderfully. But I think it was like 400 watts, which is ridiculous. And the mineral buildup, like you can see it over here on the heater and on the fan back there, that white crusty stuff, it just wasn't working out. That's why I switched to this waterfall. It's just kind of like being in the bathroom when you turn the shower on. Even when the water's not warm, just having that long contact, the water moving through the air in a smaller space, it helps keep the humidity up. And I feel like this is just a better way to do it. And it's more aesthetically pleasing, especially when it's not all gunked up and nasty looking. There it is. Nice long explanation. I'm just going to wrap this around there. That's all there is. That's all that's happening. Nothing extreme or fun. I probably could have kept this like 30 seconds. Here we go. Brought some pothos in. Have them scattered about. Been doing some pruning on them while I'm at it. Hung the chlorified them up, which I probably shouldn't have done, because you can see when I walk through here, it's in my way. But I want to get it hung up because I thought it would make it easier to come in here and clean it up. But actually, some of that stuff's really in there. I need some scissors to handle that. Got to load in the Gorilla cart. Then I already started putting some stuff out. So the alocasias and bananas are mostly going to go over here on this shelf. They just, for some reason, do well over here. I gave them a prune. So this was the lutea. It wasn't looking great because it took some cold damage a few weeks ago. And then I have the lime zinger, xanthosoma over here. Blizzard back here, which I didn't do much of a prune on. You can see it's not looking all that hot. They usually like this spot though, so I think they'll bounce back and do okay. Instead of doing the coconut palms on this table, I decided, since it's more of a low light setup, at least it is for now, I'll get that other grow light hung up, but that hook isn't. It's not right over the table, so I don't know how much it's going to do. But I have low light palms over here, some philodendrons, maxillaria tenuifoliate. Look how big this thing's gotten. It's turned into an absolute beast. I mean, it's been a beast for several years, but it's really, really getting big. I should probably divide this up, but I don't want to. I want it to keep doing its thing. That's probably, I don't know, from tip to tip. That's a good 3 feet, I would say. Not that the size really matters with those. You grow them more for their wispy, airy texture. I have these Neorigelias here that were in the Miami planters, and I don't really know what to do with them, so I'm just gonna drop them in some random spots for now. They aren't potted up, see? I didn't do it yet. They're epiphytes. They'll be okay. It would just be ideal if that had been done, but it's too cold. I want to wait for it to warm up. Wait for it to warm up. What does that mean? May? No, I mean in the grow space. I'd like for things to warm up out here. Excuse you. Can I have that? I was going to prune that off anyway. See? Needs a cut back. For now, I'm not hanging the pothos up because that's, right? It's going to be in my way. Did I leave room for the parlor palm on the shelf? I think I did. I'm trying to get the leaves out of everything before I brought them in, but There's only so much you can do. It's incredibly windy out there. That cold front's moving in. But luckily, got a head start on things, so I'm not rushing like usual. What's wrong with you? A little bit loose? That's okay. This actually, I think this may have outgrown the shelf. Might have to give that a little bit of a prune, or a big bit of a prune. Yeah, that's a good thing. Not gonna be mad about that. I have a Mandula pothos over here that I have no idea what to do with. She's going to join the floor over here. You see, here's part of the issue. I have to keep all of this open. So I have to move that cage over there. I'm going to be hanging up some other stuff in that spot, and I need help with that, so I have to wait to get that done. Can't fill that spot in with the ladder when if you're moving things around in there. And I still need things to be nice and open Friday for the electricians to get that heater installed. So temporarily, there's going to be a lot of stuff just gently set on the floor, I think. That should be plenty of walking space, but it can't encroach any more than that. Sable seedling. Oh, the lighting down here might be too intense, actually, for a sable. Well, I don't know, though. It's a blackberry Anna. Should be able to handle that. King palm. Looks like it has a little bit of cold damage on it. Not too bad. King palm should probably end up on the table with the coconut palms, but it's still small enough that I think it'll do okay with less light. And I've got a whole bunch of bananas over here that all need to be repotted, but that'll just have to wait for another day. Right now, focus on just getting them in so they're safe from the cold. Oh, the Lesmachia. Y'all remember this one? Maybe not. It's looking great. No, actually, it is starting to flush out with lots of new growth. This was one that I potted up in a video. I'm pretty sure it was in a video. Gave it a heavy prune. It's a really nice Lesmachia. It has really thick, sturdy leaves on it. Sunburst, Fancifiller's Sunburst. So now that I'm starting to get some flush out in here, I'm going to wait another week or two probably, but I'll probably end up chopping all that so everything can start to come out the top. End up with a much nicer, more full, rich plant that way. Okay, how much room do I have left? It seemed like there was so much, didn't it? Areca palm, croton, monstera. Those are the big three that take up the most space. So they need to come in last, although technically I should probably bring in the areca palm first because it needs to go right here. Otherwise I'm gonna have to move. But I can't put it right here because the electricians are gonna need to get through. I don't know. Well, all right, so I have, okay, move your hand. I have everything on this side of the yard handled except for the tie, but I can't bring the tie in yet because it's gonna get in my way with everything else. I should probably just get back to doing the little stuff. Can't believe it's November 20th. Things are still so lush and mostly pretty. Sprinkler system's been off and we've had some cool nights, so things are looking kind of rough, but really not that bad considering it is very windy. I hope this audio is usable. It might be complete and total garbage. Agaves. I think it just makes sense to focus on the stuff that goes on the shelves, get those filled up, and then can move to the floor plants, right? If I start with the floor plants, I'm going to be walking around everything. It's going to be pretty annoying. Okay, now coconuts. This one did a good amount of growing. Really girthed up. It's looking pretty good. Oh, I started to fill this up. You saw the agaves and everything. It was a few seconds ago. And I went back to the garage, started unloading them, and realized that I had forgotten the camera. I left it out here, and I didn't feel like coming all the way back out to get the camera. I figured I may as well unload it before I come out. That's why it's empty. Or that's why it was empty. It's not empty anymore. I should probably take that entire pot with me, because I can just tell this one's not going to want to stand up on that table. It's going to need some extra support. Cerebus. Do not want this set here too much cold. You're not the Cerebus. Who are you? Threnax. Oh, shit. Okay. I need to slow things down a little bit. Tripping myself up. Look at that. Done. No, not really. There's still a ton left to do, but got the coconuts in. Pretty much all the palm trees are in except for the areca palm. Still need to bring in the big croton, the monstera, and the variegated hibiscus. That needs to come in. The dracaena, Reflexa, and the another Dracaena. That's it. That's all that's left. And then I'll like go around and I'll pick up other things where I was like, I wasn't sure about bringing this in, and if there's room, I'll go ahead and scoot it in. Like I said, the main thing is that I have to have all this space here cleared out. So managed to get a lot of stuff in here and still maintain some floor space to move around, some more space over there. I have all that recycling and Goodwill and things ready to go. And some of these things that are over here in this pile come back over here onto the shelves and along this wall unit over here, but I had to get them out of here for the electricians on Friday. Some other things that have happened since you last saw whatever the heck was going on. The light showed up in the mail and found a joist, got it hung up there. It's not quite centered on the table, but it'll do for now. I think what I'll probably end up having to do is run a wire from that hook that it's on right there over to that hook, and then I can center the light right in there, right there, right where that dot is. And then it'll be more centered over the table, but for now, this is good. There's some more light over here on this table. Like I mentioned, on this side, it's gonna be more of the low light palms and plants. So I have the Tepelote Tychospermas over here. There's the little king palm, may have to move that one, and the Veitchias, which are by no means low light palms, but they're still seedlings, so they don't need a ton of light right now. The coconuts need the bulk of the light. And I got the bird cage. That's where I store my old bird cage. Listen, that's a king cage. If you don't know, if you're not a parrot person, king cages, very expensive. Not throwing it away. Not gonna happen. Gonna keep that cage forever. Had since I was a little kid. And I got the fan, the replacement fan, hung up and installed. So essentially everything out here is done except for moving in a few more plants. That's pretty nice. I was just taking a breather. That's all. I'm just sitting here taking a breather. Yes, there's a fish tank by my crotch. I don't remember why. I think there's like a terrarium project or something in my head that I was going to do. I'm gonna go through and have a look at the plants more closely when I'm done moving them in. I have some of my curcumas and plants that should go dormant. They don't have to, but they should go dormant. It makes my life easier. On the ground over here and over in a dark corner back there so they can finish fizzling off and going to sleep. Accidentally bent a leaf here on the Galactic Traveler. That's good. Wow, their colors really show a lot better underneath the studio lighting. Look at that. When they were outside, it was kind of hard to get on camera the bluey silver tone that they have, especially since they showed up basically in the fall and the angle of the sun is kind of weird and everything gets sort of a yellow cast to it. That is some nice color. You can see them a lot better. Very pretty. Looking good too. The Aeonium. It's all right. It's inside. That's all I care about. It's not going to die. My bars got low. Just keep it alive. That's all I care about right now. And then I have some more of these fans coming in the mail, the ones that just screw into the sockets, and some socket bases that you can plug in, don't have to be hardwired. Because one of the issues I have out here that I've always had is keeping the warm air down, right? The warm air wants to rise. Anytime I've been on a ladder during the winter time, I get up towards the ceiling and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so hot up here. And that's because there's just not enough air movement pushing it down. I've always had that fan over there. There's some that I keep on the ground to blow the cold air up and help just kind of create sort of a, you know, one of these things, cold air up, warm air down kind of motion. But these little things are so dang cheap. I was like, I should get a couple more of those. That's what I was thinking anyways. And put one down further there and then put another one down further over there. I may end up pulling this one because I actually think it's too much breeze right above the plants, whereas the other ones won't be directly above anything. That could dry them out. I turned it off as it is because they were just rocking back and forth and everything. I was like, I think that would be too much. So I can potentially put a new grow light into that spot, similar to these ones that I've done over here. Like some of these, that one. Yeah, that's a good example right there. Could do something like that over there and that might help. But again, it's not directly above those plants, it's closer. I don't know, I'm getting ahead of myself. I haven't had specific grow lights over this table ever, and the plants have always been fine. I've had spotlights up there, which is, I think, gonna be essentially what I'm getting from this guy right here, because it's only about maybe 2.5 feet from the tallest point on those Vicia palms, the Montgomerys, but everything down lower, that light's not going to do much for it. So I do need to plan on figuring something else out there. Doing things over here with the ladder, not a big deal. But once I have the Eureka palm in here, the Eureka palm will be somewhere around right here on the ground. Once that's in here, getting the ladder in and out of this space for everything on this side is a monumental pain in the butt. So if I have to do things over here later on, not a big deal. That's why it was important to me to get these grow lights done up here. I've added a lot of lighting to this spot. It's the nice thing about the LEDs. I'm not using the things that use a ton of energy anymore. I'm still keeping track of my amps so I don't blow anything and don't go overboard. And I still have a few to spare, so I could do something up there with that light, swap it out with a grow light, and then install that fan somewhere else, I suppose. And then I mentioned the waterfall being too noisy. One of the issues that it's having is that there's just not quite enough water pressure to keep an even weir. That's supposed to be a nice even weir. And as long as the pump that runs this thing is immaculately clean, it works fine. But that's just not how things go when there's fish in the water. The impeller clogs up about once a week. I mean, it doesn't clog up, but it does this about once a week. And then you have to take the pump apart. It's not that complicated, but I have it like strapped over right here. You just pull it up, you untwist a basket that's on there, and you reach in, pull the junk out, and put it back together, let it do its thing. And it's fine, but also annoying. I have a guard that I can put around it that's going to help with that. And I think I may end up replacing the pump with something that's more powerful and a variable speed pump, so that when I'm feeling annoyed by the volume level, because I don't know how it's coming across on camera, but it is pretty loud. I find it relaxing, but I also feel like I have to talk over it, which I don't like. It strains my voice and seems unnecessary. So if I have a variable speed, then there's just a dial you can turn that will slow it down to a trickle while I'm talking or while I'm filming, and then I can turn it back up. And when it isn't even weird, it's much more quiet too. So the irony there is when it's flowing faster, it's more quiet. But it's because it's not all split up into all these little trickly bits right here. It's one even sheet of water that comes over. Can you tell that I'm slightly procrastinating? Because all that's left are the big plants, and I'm kind of tired and I don't feel like it. I mean, I'm excited about it, but I also am just like, done. Like, there's still a lot of room, though. Something feels off, doesn't it? Am I forgetting something? Yeah, the plants that still need to come in are big plants. That Eureka palm is going to take up a ton of space. Monstera takes up a lot of space. The big croton takes up a lot of space. I still have a few small crotons that need to come in. Maybe once I get in those more floor-sized plants, then this will fill in more. Not that it needs to be filled in, but I just feel like there's more room than there usually is in here, which is funny because a couple hours ago I was moving plants and going, oh no, where am I going to put everything? But there's still a lot of space. I am going to try tomorrow to dig up the alocaceas, the Borneo giants. Those are going to go right here. So I have to remember to keep this spot open. That's one of the reasons I haven't hung these things up yet, is because I just wanted to be able to move around in here if I need to. The Eureka palm, though, for the time being, because this area they need to be able to get through and get over there to get to the heater. Same thing with over here. I'm going to get everything moved in except for the Eureka palm. And then I think what I'm going to do with the Eureka palm is keep it on the cart. The cart I used to move it can sit at a 45-degree angle and just leave it stretched out this way, right here. And it'll just have to sit that way for a few days. It'll probably, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do some things and come back, and there'll be even more plants in here. Okay, I did it. I got it in. Doesn't really fit. I don't know if I'm going to be able to stand this up. I'm not even trying right now, right? Because this is where this has to stay so that everything over here can be open for the electrician. So the Eureka is just going to hang out, and I might have to do some trunk pruning this year. Should be unfortunate, but we knew this day was coming. I've had this palm for a really long time, and you know, it can only fit in here for so long. And it's nice that it's a clustering palm, right? So if I have to cut certain trunks off that have gotten too tall, it's going to send up new ones. It's already got some others that are coming up and looking pretty good down in there. So hopefully that won't happen, but it might be the case. Not something I have to worry about now or even in this video, because the electricians won't be here to put the new heater until Friday night. And by then this video will be edited and ready to go. The tie, this thing I'm gonna have to chop it. I have to. It's fallen over and flopped over. It's come completely off of its pole. It's pretty much all on the ground at this point. I think that it would be better for the plant to cut it and get it upright, but that's right. I shouldn't do that, no. What just happened in my brain? That is something I shouldn't do right now, right? Because it's not warm. It's still pretty cool in here. Gotta get that heater up and running first. And then through here, you just come around the corner over here to Palm Island. Things are looking pretty good. I had accidentally forgotten about one of these guys. I don't know if accidentally and forgotten seems like a double. Didn't need to say that. Brought this one in, set on a couple milk crates. Still, you know, trying to keep this area clear. Dracaena's looking good. Look at it. This thing has gotten huge. It really appreciated the repot that it got in the springtime. It did so much growing this year. You can walk around underneath this trunk. I mean, you still get these things in your face, but that's probably a good, maybe 5.5, 6 feet of trunk. You know, it's in a pot, so it's hard to say how tall it actually is, but it's getting big. That's going to end up going inside. I just have it sitting there for right now. I usually keep that one in the house during the winter time. I cut the tops off this Dracaena because that was bugging me. It looked like garbage, right? Cut the top off, put one of them in there. The other one I tossed because I cut it too short and it started to fall apart. I also pulled up one of the Pharaoh's Dream colocaceas and stuck it in here. I have this floating pond thing that I've stuck some leca in. I thought that would be a nifty thing to have around this year. I just want to stick things in there. It'd be a good spot for them, help get things propagated. Ginger over here, Tahitian flame. I usually let this go dormant, but I'm going to let it keep doing its thing for as long as it wants to because it does have an inflow over here that's getting ready to open up and they just smell so good. So maybe being over here closer to these lights, that'll keep it going. If not, you just, cut it back, let it rest, and it'll come back in the springtime. I brought in a fuchsia. It doesn't look good, okay? I know that as far as fuchsias are concerned, this thing looks like garbage. However, this is one of the first fuchsias that I have gotten in the springtime and managed to keep it alive all summer and into the fall because it just gets so hot here, and this year horribly dry, and that usually kills them. It's usually the hot and the wet that ends up killing them, but they don't really like the hot and the dry either. But I grabbed this one because I read up on it while I was at the store. I was like, okay, well, which one is wind chimes? And it said that it's supposed to be particularly good with warm temperatures. I wouldn't say it was great, right? It doesn't look fantastic, but it's the only one I've gotten to come through all that and keep flowering. So I feel like, give this a cut back all the way through and it should flush back out. Look pretty nice. The fuchsias usually are happy in here. Got all the little bananas and gingers and things over here. Ultimately, all of these need to be repotted, but again, I need things to warm up. I started to say this earlier, not like wait till the springtime, but I gotta get that heater going, bring the potting soil in from the driveway and let that warm up too, because right now, if I were to do it, I'd be potting everything up into like 50-degree soil. I don't know, seems like a bad idea. Musifloridas over here in the corner. I cut their tops off. They were probably about this high. Cut them in half. Look at what they're already doing. Already starting to push out from the inside. So those will end up over here on these shelves at some point. Like I said, everything's just kind of in the vicinity of where I would like for them to be, but not where they're going to be staying. The objective here is to just get it in here and make sure that I've maintained a path to go around. So that's where we are. Freckles Croton. Look at how big Frex has gotten. This thing's a beast and like pretty much fully reverted to these giant leaves. Freckles is supposed to have these little leaves like this, but this is what it's been doing for me since last winter. I'm thinking it'll be difficult to do it, but I might come in here and just do a full like boom 50% huge major prune on it, and then I could root all the little guys too, because it's not one that is easy to find for sale. And then I'll have more of them to work with. It's just, I always say that, but then I never do it. But I really do want to try and get that done. I brought in the, I want to say it's Mandarin Breeze hibiscus here. It wasn't looking too hot. It's been cold, it's that time of year. And it's been a few days since we had some rain, but I'm thinking that they should bounce back here fairly soon. It's gonna need a night to warm up, and then I'll give it a drink. When the plants are cool, it's hard to tell if they need water or not, so I like to bring them in, give them a few hours to really maybe fully overnight, and then check again, see if the soil feels dry. Because when it's cold, that's a really risky time to be putting water down around their roots, right? You end up rotting the plant out. So it'll just chill there. It's not all that warm in here right now. It's like maybe 65 degrees, which is nice. It's probably a good 20 degrees warmer than it is outside, but that's not really warm enough for me to want to jump on top of watering the hibiscus either. So gonna give that a day. And everything else, yeah, everything else is just kind of splayed out all over the place. Yeah, I know it's kind of hard to do a tour of everything when it's all jumbled together. You can see I've got the big croton in the back, the Petra. That thing's gotten huge. What a beast. So big. It's probably 7.5, 8 feet tall, I'm guessing. In a container in the ground would be like, I don't know, 5.5 feet tall, maybe 6 foot. Variegated hibiscus, Dracaena reflexa, and hopefully tomorrow I will have time. I don't know if I will, but hopefully I'll have time to dig up those Borneo giant alocasias. I'm just going to use the machete and cut them back to being stubs and bring them in here and put them back right behind this pond. I don't know, timing wise, I may not have time, but I'm going to do my best and try and get that done. I got the pothos hung up back there. I know I said I was gonna wait, but then it was bugging me. It's like, I did not spend all that time getting that pole restrung, not to hang them up. That'd be dumb. You can see though, they pulled down over here again. That's okay. I need to get another one hung up over here, and I think that when I do that, that might pull that cord down some more, and I don't know, maybe it'll straighten it out. If not, I don't know. It's not really bothering me that much. And I feel like once I have the Areca palm out of there, I could probably get in there and fix that fairly easily. I just forgot. So many other things were going on. You know, I've had bikes hanging up in this corner for as long as this channel's been around. I've had those old bikes there and just all kinds of mess over here. We've got new cabinets put in. Got the bikes out. I can actually get to the snow shovels now. Not that I need them very often, but can get to them. At the iguana cage put back where it goes. I haven't used these things in years, these IKEA things. I used to keep little terrarium type plants in there, and you can see how I had hooked up these little drip heads to them, so it would water the one on the top and it would trickle down, water this one, water this one. I don't know if I'm gonna use it again, but I don't know, I might. It's nice to at least be able to get to it. And having the pond insulated, that's a radiant barrier. It's not really insulation, but the whole point is it'll help, you know, keep the water from losing its warmth as quickly. And all the new lights. I've wanted to get a new light put up over here and get new lights over here and to bring that light down. I knew I needed to do it all last winter. Just a very, very, very productive day out here. Really got a lot done. Yeah, the plants aren't put away, but that's just the way that's going to go. And I feel like I do that every year. The last few years, I'm just like, okay, just bring them in, and then you can arrange them. And I have everything in the general vicinity of where I want them to go, but they aren't actually set where they need to be. Like, you can see this entire top shelf up here. There's still a lot of space up there. I have a croton that I want to put up there, but I want to repot it first because the soil's not holding on to enough moisture. If I put it up there before I repot it, I know that it's going to decline and not look all that great. What else? There's something else I wanted to talk about. I don't remember what it was. Oh, yeah. I have a bunch of stuff on these shelves right here that are actually things that go in the house. There's not in the house right now because the garden window is full of Christmas decor. So once the holidays are over, I'll be pulling some of these things out, and that'll make some more room on these shelves also. There's some plants you guys haven't seen in a pretty long time. The vanilla, this stays in here all year. I don't take it outside, and it is very happy. It's all over the place. It's down in there and around and up and over. It's trailing through some of the aeroids up there. It's looking pretty good. I still have a lot of space down low, which is good because I like that lower, shorter shelf for prop stuff. The distance between the light and the plants is a lot better for propping. I have those really big red bromeliads outside, and I've been debating whether or not to bring them in. I'm gonna sleep on it and decide tomorrow. Like I could bring them in, just put them right here for right now. It's more just a matter of trying to think about how are they going to do in here, because they're a highlight, like nearly full sun bromeliad. And I don't know. I just don't really have a lot of space with that kind of intensity, and they are huge. Those massive big red bromeliads, they're gonna cut me when I walk past them. I just know they're going to get on my nerves. They're gonna get lots of brown tips on them. But I don't know, it's not something I see for sale out here ever, so it would make sense to go ahead and bring them in and just set them somewhere. Otherwise, I've brought in everything and a few more. The only ones that I haven't brought in are like the windmill palms, Chinese fan palms, mule palms, pindus, the ones that are more hardy. Those will be coming in until we go into the mid-teens to lower 20s. The Chinese fan palms, I don't know. I just got to see how I get things arranged out here. And if it looks like I have a space that's going to be good for them, then I'll bring them in. If not, then adios. Adios to the Chinese fan palms. I always try and find a spot for them, right? But they just aren't the best palms to bring in. There's always an issue with them. Well, it's always the same issue, though, and it's crown rot. Because they sit low to the ground. I guess I could put them up on milk crates, give that a try. So if they're not getting splashed with the hose the same way and the water's not settling in the crown, they'll be up higher. Some air circulation, that might be an option. I don't know, those aren't things I need to think about right now. Right now, what I should do is just sit back and relax. Because it has been a very, very chaotic and busy few weeks leading up to this, really, and especially just the last few days getting everything cleared out in here. It was just years of rubble and mess that had fallen out from these broken shelves over here and the shelves that are behind me. I'm so happy to have this thing wrapped. It's been bugging me for like the last couple of years, but there's always been stuff around the pond, so I was never able to do it, but it, had the opportunity. So glad that I took it. Yeah, that coconut's not going to get anywhere near enough light right here. Oh, no, this one right here. I zoomed in on the wrong one. I have to do something about that, and it needs to be repotted. It's in a metal, like, cooler thing. Look at that. It's falling apart. Not an ideal time of year to do a repot, but I think I may end up having to do that, which is okay. There's going to be several things out here that need some repots. And once that heater's up and going, can warm this space up into the mid-70s, and I won't be hesitant about that. I just had a nice look at everything, just sat back and looked around and go, oh, this looks nice. My brain just started feeling relaxed. That's a good feeling. I just kind of coming down from getting the Areca palm in and the last of the big plants and all the little details with things. I haven't really sat back and just gone, hey, this is nice. Very relaxing. There's something I haven't been able to do in a few years. I can scoot around out here. Look at this. So much room for activities. Move the Galactic Travelers over here to the table. Don't know if there'll be enough light, but again, I'm going to be moving things around. I mostly just really wanted them off the desk. I don't like having a ton of stuff cluttered up over here. I think those pots look nice with the purple from the Chimidaria. I think I called these Tacospermas earlier. That's not what they are. The Tepilotes. I need to write out some tags to put on them because I know I pronunciate it completely wrong. I pronounce it wrong. Man, my brain is done. I can't even talk anymore. That's going to go inside. Goes in a bathroom on the north side of the house and just chills there for most of the winter. And then the Pink Witch. I don't know. Need to find a spot for it. I found these Petunias sitting on the desk. Look at these. Does anybody remember these? They're just sitting in these bags over here. These are from a plant haul I did this past winter. I believe it was from Hertz. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Hertz. I ordered a whole bunch of terrarium plants. It was during the polar vortex, but I just assumed they weren't going to ship them out. And they did. They sent me a box of plants that pretty much all looked dead. They refunded me everything. And I stuck these Petunias in this baggie to see what they would do. And, well, here we are. What has it been? Probably about 11 months later. I think it was about this time last year. Not last year, but January. So, hey, there's something. That's good to know. I don't know why I say good to know. No, Petunias are pretty tough, sturdy terrarium plants, so it makes sense that they would have overwintered well in a plastic, not overwintered, over-summered well in a plastic bag. It's time to go. I try and keep these videos longer. This might even be a long video. I have no idea. No clue. I'm guessing probably between 30 and 45 minutes, but I don't know. I can't do anymore because the brain is done, and I'm at a standstill until this heater gets installed, and then can move things around and play with some things. I know I had mentioned in a video where I was talking about bulk filming for the wintertime outdoors, and I had made a point in that video that was largely because it's such a pain to film videos in the grow space because there's not a lot of room to work over here. There's more room now, but you know how that goes. Give it several weeks, and I'm sure we'll fill in this floor pretty well with other plants. And there were some people saying they were kind of bummed about that, and that because they like the grow space. Understandable. But what I meant was the Wednesday videos are the ones where I'm not planning on filming much in here. But the Saturday videos, the vlogs, this is it. This is our winter clubhouse. This is where we're going to be all winter doing stuff in here, go out and do stuff too. And there'll still be plenty of stuff going on outside as well. But we're still going to be doing stuff in here. Didn't mean I wasn't going to film in here at all, like I was done filming in the grow space. Definitely not the case. I just meant those shorter videos I put out on Wednesdays where I like to use a nicer camera and have all the lights and everything set up. Most of those videos are already filmed, and I think there's enough of them to go till like March, I believe, maybe April. So I think that'll be nice. Maybe not, but I think it'll be good. Having a short video during the week where you see the outdoors and it's still warm and sunny and all tropical looking, and then on the Saturdays we'll be in here with the artificial lighting and the plants all potted up around the pond. I have some plans for this winter. Don't know what will actually happen. I was thinking about maybe running moss up along the sides of those poles and sticking cuttings in them, because why not? May as well utilize the space. Is I going to get a new pump to go in here for that thing and get a better flow out of that waterfall. Would like to do a good amount of propping, so I'm trying to leave the bottom of that shelf over there opened up for getting cuttings and things going for spring gardening, and maintenance. Lots of maintenance, just taking care of things. I'm looking forward to it. This is always a day of the year that I somewhat dread. I don't dread bringing the plants in. That part really isn't hard. It's all the prep work that goes into it, and this year the prep work was more intense than usual. But that was with good return. Got a lot of stuff done that, like I said, I've wanted to do for years. Getting those bikes out of here, hanging more lights, getting the pond insulated, and that's just to name a few. That's always a good feeling when you've had a lot of stuff you've been thinking about doing, and then you finally go ahead and get it done. Yeah, it's nice. It feels good. It'll feel better when I get some more things done over here, but we'll get there. This is just the starting point. We've got several months to be doing all kinds of fun stuff in here. Oh, and I suppose if you're new here and you don't know, I should probably explain my setup some more. So this is a pond. There are fish in here. There's a filter around that back corner. The waterfall is for aeration for the water, and as I talked about earlier, to provide some more humidity in here. It helps a lot with the humidity, having the water making that contact with the air as it goes down. I use this water to water all of the plants in here during the winter time. So I have a pump that sits in here, attaches to this hose. Let's walk around and give everything a drink. The water has those tannins in it from the driftwood that helps soften the water up, so our tap water is a little bit on the hard side. Tropicals like things to be more acidic. And it's also nice nutrient-rich water because there are also fish in here. There's mostly koi and goldfish in there. So that's what this is all about, if you didn't know. All the lighting in here at this point is all LED, which I think would be the standard at this point. But back in the day, several years ago on the channel, it was all giant CFLs, and I had, I think, some metal halides and maybe some of the sodium pressure lights. And actually, I don't think I had any of those, but there were some metal halides and T5 fixtures. But everything's LED now, so they're not using quite as much power as they were in the past. Like I said, I count my amps and things are diverted. Different outlets in here go to different breakers in my basement for safety reasons. And the reason I have certain things lifted up and why I have the styrofoam on the ground is because it's good to keep the plants out of contact with the cement floor, because the floor in here still gets pretty cold. Even though we keep things nice and toasty in here during the winter time, the floor, the cement just sucks the warmth right out of the pot. So that's why the styrofoam's there. I know it's getting old and junky, but it's styrofoam, right? You don't want to get rid of it until you absolutely have to. It's serving its purpose. Doesn't look pretty anymore, but it's serving its purpose. The shelves that are over here, I believe these are baker's racks. This one, I think, is 84 inches, and this one's 72. Although I feel like that's way taller than a foot. It seems like there's a lot more than a foot going on between the two. This one's taller than the other one. That's what that's about. Over here, I keep these drainage flow trays. That's what they're called, for hydroponics. That's why I keep the plants in. So I have those on all the shelves. They're from Botanicare 2x4 rack trays. They have 4-inch drainage areas. There's like a reservoir, and everything is slightly sloped to come down to that reservoir, and I have a big hole poked in the bottom of each one. So when I water up here, that water drains down, comes down here. I still water the shelf that's below too, but it just keeps it so things are getting a nice soak that gently fades away for everything. It's a system that's been working fairly well for a few years. There are ebb and flow kits you can put in these. I think I might have one. I do. Here's an ebb and flow kit. So there's just fittings you can put into those racks to adjust how quickly they drain or hold the water in. Haven't installed them. Don't need them. The plants have seemed happy without them. And they're fairly pricey, so that's why I never bothered with them. I typically always have everything on this end opened up in clear, but right now, you know, I just have things sitting over there. But this is where all of the cold hardy plants go on the rare occasion that I need to bring them in. So the windmill palms, mule palms, butia, what else? I don't even know. But you know, the plants I like to bring in when it's, you know, below like 20 outside, we'll say, those go over in this area outside that garage door. They're not usually in for more than like, I think the longest I've ever had to keep them in was 6 weeks. Usually it's just like 2 to 4 weeks. I have to bring those things in, and that's when things get really congested in here, but that's not usually off until January. Maybe sometimes in February I have to do that. It's pretty rare in December that I have to bring them in, but it wouldn't be unheard of. I've had to do it before. So my goal right now that this is done, is to, well, get through next week because it's the holiday and Thanksgiving. I got a lot of stuff to do inside with the house and with family, but also to make sure that I get the plants arranged how they need to be. I've already talked about that a ton, but that heater's got to get installed first, and then I'll have that space opened up over there and ready to go in case I have to bring in all the other tropicals unexpectedly. Tropicals, you know what I mean? The cold hardy stuff. Yeah, okay, I think that's the best way I can sum it all up. That's what goes on out here. That's my system, how I like to do things. Not the best representation of it because not everything is quite where it needs to go, but it will be in a week or two. Hope everybody's doing well. Comment down below, say hi. I love talking to everybody. Y'all got your plants inside yet? I think most of you probably do, except for some of you who are further south who don't have to move your plants inside. But yeah, this has been a long time coming. I'm really happy this year. Got to keep the plants outside until, well, today, November 20th. That's pretty dang good. That's back to normal. That's how things used to be when I was growing up. It used to be around the week of Thanksgiving was when I needed to move the tropicals inside, but I don't know, the last like 5 to 7 years, something like that, been bringing everything in mid-October to early November. That extra few weeks really makes a difference. It's just nice to have that extra time with the plants outside. They just enjoy it. I think they like being outside, right? I would if I were a plant. I'd rather be outside than underneath artificial lighting. I'm not a plant, and I prefer to be outside under natural light and not artificial lighting. That's what I'm saying. It's time to go because the things between the brain and the mouth just don't even make sense anymore. I hope everybody's doing well, having a great day, a great life, and everything's just going absolutely beautifully for you. And of course, as always, and most importantly, everybody, keep on growing. Bye-bye.